Okay. Okay, sounds good.
Hi Raj.
Okay, and hey, how's it going?
It's going good. What about you?
Good, good. Doing good. All right, so Dalton, this is your second interview, is it, or is it the first one with us?
This is
Vishal,
his first one.
first one, right? Yeah, I forgot. I think I might have interviewed another person with the same name. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this interview. Got tied up with a few things. Just trying to look at your resume. Just help me understand what your most recent project was about,
Okay.
right? And what your role was in that.
Okay. Thanks, Raj. Thanks for the opportunity. I have been working in DevOps and cloud for around 5 years, and in my recent role or in my recent project, I was working for a travel and tourism product, where my main role was on the cost optimization and the security part of the application. I was involved in the project from the scratch. Means before the go live, we were the guys who bring up the skeleton of the infrastructure and maintain the files from the scratch for the Terraform and even from the for the manifest. Like then we have created the planning. After the planning part, we have deployed the cloud resources, then deployed the microservices using the CI/CD automation using Jenkins. We were using Jenkins, and later on we have to reduce the downtime and monitor our application. We have implemented the observability, which is the Azure monitor. We were working with Azure, so used Azure monitor
Mhm.
along with Prometheus and Grafana for the advanced metrics and dashboards.
Got it. All right. What's your experience with Terraform?
Okay, so yep, I have built the resources, written the TF modules in TF files in a modular approach, and provisioning the
Mhm.
infrastructure, maintaining the state file.
Okay. How would you right make sure that you know your versioning is carried forward in every Terraform deployment.
Okay, so the best practice is we all should be storing the state file remotely in the backend. That can be
Mhm.
the blob storage or the Amazon S3 bucket. There we can enable the versioning option so that each state will be having its own state file which the with that time of the configuration. So in that case we can version that particular state file along with enabling the versioning as well, so we have the track of all the configurations throughout the previous releases.
Got it. Okay. All right. Have you worked on any pipelines, creating pipelines, maintaining, managing pipelines?
The CI/CD pipelines.
CI/CD pipelines.
Yep, I
Yes.
have worked majorly
Okay.
with Jenkins and GitHub
Uh-huh.
Actions as well.
Git and sorry.
Jenkins and GitHub Actions.
Oh, GitHub. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Anything on DevOps? Like, were you able to build anything on DevOps?
Uh, yep, written the pipelines from the scratch for the
Okay.
microservices.
Okay.
Maintained and provision the Jenkins infrastructure as well. So we were using Jenkins in our own servers. Maintained a master and the slave architecture along with the nodes and the agents. Maintained the workload, which pipeline should be scheduled on which of the Jenkins agent, so that we should not be
Okay.
having choking sort of mechanism for any of the nodes. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
if in case if I feel like my pipeline is getting slow, I'll be increasing the agents, particularly in the build time, to reduce the
Mm-hmm.
pipeline deployment by 50%, specifically in the build stage.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Finally, I think I found your resume. Is your most recent experience with Status Neo? Is that is
Yes.
that you? Right. Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. All right. So Okay, your first accomplishment, right? You architected and deployed Kubernetes platform using Terraform and help enabling 99% uptime across 3 production environments, reducing manual infra setup. So, what was that manual infra setup that was being done, and how did you automate that?
Uh, Initially, in the planning part of the application, we deployed the cloud resources using the CLI commands and with the UI, with the console commands. Uh, but lately, when we were having multiple of the cloud resources in each of the environments, it was difficult for us to track each of the resources. So we were already having the resources in our cloud infrastructure. So we have written the TF files in a modular approach for the environments which we have dev, stage, and prod, and make sure there should be no access for any of the operations from the UI call and even from the CLI call. It will be particularly assigned for the IAM that no user is allowed to change any of the things using console. Anything which is done should be with Terraform, and we should be having a
Okay.
particular service principal assigned to that particular agent which is responsible for running the Terraform apply command. With that, only
Mhm.
Terraform is able to do any of the configurations in the infrastructure, and that is audited
Okay.
and logged as well.
Right. Okay. Got it. Makes sense. All right. Design and implemented CI/CD pipelines in Jenkins, cutting the deployment lead time, right? 60 by 66%. What were the design changes that you did to achieve that, increased speed?
Okay, so how my pipeline looks like is like checking out the source code, implementing the Sonar Cube setup, then we have the unit test, then we have the build test, then we have the scanning test from Trivi to scan the Docker image, then we have the CD part to deploy it using Helm, then we have the health check particularly coming up or not. Okay, so now this was
Mhm.
the process, like each step takes some time, but the step was build step which take more time to build the application. When we are building the Docker file, it takes time depending upon the size of the code and depending upon the size of the Docker file. So what we did, we
Mhm.
implemented the multi-stage Docker file so that the file, the image size should be lower, and the during the time of the build stage, I will be dynamically enabling one agent that will be cutting down that build process by two. So 50% will be cut down particularly by bringing up one agent or one node. So this is how during the build process I have mitigated the time, and that reduced the manual efforts, and yep, automated the whole deployment from the integration and to the deployment.
Okay. All right, sir. Sounds good. Okay, let me give you a scenario, right? What we have here. So we have a project, in Azure DevOps, right? We have multiple like code bases in Azure DevOps. We have multiple environments, Dev, QA, UAT, 1, 2, 3, and then production, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a branching mechanism. So any developer who makes changes, implements anything new, they check in directly into the main branch, right? So, and then they take out a build. There are some pipelines on that particular branch, sorry, on the main branch. And then, they deploy to each of these environments, right? But the challenge we have is, today if I deploy the latest, like any time you want to do a deployment, it's going to be the latest, right? But you definitely need certain versions in each of those environments. Like UAT, if you get to an environment, right, and if you have to fix something, found a bug in UAT environment, you have to actually redeploy the same version to UAT. You can't just pull up everything new that is in the main branch and deploy to UAT, because UAT is a set of functionality already blocked, right, or boxed in time. So what kind of a good strategy would be applied here, right, for us to maintain different versions, right, different branches, and being able to create pipelines for each environments, and then uh, uh, you know how can we automate this entire process? Think about what you can, what you can do. Not necessarily it has to be a perfect solution, right? But what are some of the things that you might actually think in implementing this kind of a solution?
So,
If you have any questions on the question, let me know. I can try to explain that a little bit more for you.
okay. So what are the steps I can use, or what are the approach
Mhm.
I'll be implementing is that first
Well,
will be the versioning for the pipelines. What does
uh-huh.
that mean? Like each pipeline or any of the application, any of the microservice in any of the environment, let's suppose it is the stage environment and we are deploying the application one, that should be having its own tag particularly. So using the tagging mechanism we can segregate the particular build number or the deployment number. The second one
Mm.
would be, I like to, particularly in this scenario, like will be try to segregate the pipelines environment wise, so that each pipeline will be only deployed to a specific environment, so that I can particularly use the service principals assigned to the pipelines in the ADO to designate the particular workload to the respective environment. And
Right.
the third one, like if something breaks out in any of the environment, I can be not redeploying
Mhm.
it, I can be using the rollback technique n minus n version. So as we are having the tags and the versioning enabled, I can easily roll back to the n minus n version to make sure my environment is up and running, and then we can fix it later on for the RCAs and other hot fixes.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sounds good. What are the different kind of tools that you have used for observability
I have worked
in your
with
pipelines?
Prometheus. Okay, in pipelines. Yep, like a deployed same for I have worked with Prometheus and Grafana. Like scraping the matrix, I have used Prometheus, and to visualize that raw data, I have created the dashboards where I
Okay.
have defined the like network, the load on the particular agent, what is exactly the latency when the pipeline runs, how
Right.
much time each pipeline consumes, and what are the rollbacks for any of the pipelines, and this is segregated environment wise for the dev stage and prod.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sounds good. What else? Integrated Vault and Sonar Cube. Security. Okay. So can you set up thresholds in Sonar Cube if it doesn't pass in your pipeline, right? Fail the build, fail the deployment.
Yep, like I can write the custom quality gates, and if the code like if the number is beyond that, it is like reaching the threshold, and the pipeline will
Right.
be aborted at that particular step only.
Okay. And reporting and informing
We have
people.
already set
Like
up the
in yours.
SMTP alert and in the Slack alerts
Right.
as well, so we will be notified through the emails and the Slack messages.
Got it. We don't use Slack, but we actually use Teams. I'm not sure if we can do that there, but yeah, emails, I think we can do that. Okay. All right. Um, okay. Uh, Terraform. Okay, just walk me through what happens in a Terraform template. What usually is a Terraform template and what you can do with it.
Well, if I follow any of the resources like the main.tf file.
Yes, like what is the usual structure of a Terraform folder, right? What are the different kind of templates you would use? How would you separate those templates for provisioning each of the infrastructure?
Okay.
Like let's say in your Amdocs you said that you architected AWS infrastructure using Terraform, right? Where during the setup time. Just walk me through that example. What did you do there?
Okay, so coming to the directory structure, like I'll be having a root module, like will be named as the module directory, where I'll be having the subdirectories. Like let's suppose that can be of the VPC, that will be having the VPC subnets and the CIDR. Then we have the Kubernetes, the EC2. Like these will be the subdirectories I'll be having, and each of them I'll be having the main.tf vars.tf file, which will be written as a module. Now in the
Mm.
same directory as of the module directory, I'll be having three more directories of dev, stage, UAT, and prod. In that directory, I'll be creating the tf files again from for the main.tf, vars.tf, along with the terraform.tf was, where in the main.tf I'll be calling the module which is in the module directory. Like
Right.
for the Kubernetes, I'll be calling the same module and with the own configurations in the vas.tf. with respective to
Mm-hmm.
that configuration, each environment will be deployed. And again, like
Right.
for storing the remote file, will be storing in the S3 with the state locking and DynamoDB enabled.
Got it. Now, you said you're going to have one folder for each environment, right?
Yep.
Production, dev, Unity, so on and so forth. How do you manage common elements across those different environments?
Like any, suppose let's any example,
Any
like
variables, any variables that you have to use commonly across the board?
way, like we have like segregated particularly for the variables, like so that they cannot miss up.
Miss. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. That's fine. That was just a roundabout question for you there. Okay. Cool. Any questions for me, sir?
uh,
I'm done with mine. Right.
okay.
But yeah, let me know. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, thanks us, thanks for interviewing, nice, thank you for the nice interview. Like the question will be like, if suppose like I got selected, so what will be the exact work, or what will be the requirement on which I will be working? And number
All
two,
right.
from 6 months from now, what will be the expectations from me as in this role?
Right. So this, but see,